Hey guys, Zack here, and welcome back to another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Jurassic World Primal Attack Callovosaurus. I do have an announcement to make, but I'll save that for the end of the video, so let's just get into this. So first, we'll take a look at the painting, and the painting on this figure, for the most part, isn't terrible. It's on the same level as the Ornitholestes, but yeah, let's take a closer look. So as we can see here, most of the body is a very dark shade of blue, which does look nice. I actually really do like this color. And on the side of the leg here, and even like on top of the figure, we do have some orange patterns, which I feel like it would look nice if there was like a different color. I do like the orange, but a little nicer if it was a different color. Maybe like a darker shade of orange, but yeah. But anyway, we do have some orange on the upper half of the figure. The eyes are painted a slightly brighter shade of orange with black pupils. And the beak, for some reason, is painted blue. There's a little bit of a paint blemish right there. My camera's picking it up pretty well, so I'm sure you can see it. But the beak is blue for some reason. I don't really get why they went with blue here. Maybe it feels like maybe gray or black. I feel like it'd look a little nicer, but a bright shade of blue like this, I feel like doesn't work. Going to the tail here, we do have a brighter shade of blue. And this sort of like patterning going on right here with like the bright shade of blue and like the darker shade of blue like as the stripes. This actually reminds me of Fang from Genndy Tartakovsky's Primal, which again, I've said this in the past. If you haven't seen that show, please watch it. In fact, get off this video and watch it right now. It is incredible. It's only like 6 episodes long. They do plan on making more in the fall, so again, please watch it. So yeah. But yeah, no, I do like this. This does look very nice. So yeah. And in Mattel tradition, the toenails are not painted, which is kind of a shame, but honestly, I'm used to it at this point. Also, there's the scan code if you want it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the painting on this figure. I like it. The painting on this figure is nice. There are some things where, yeah, it could be a little better, but overall, the painting, it's on the same level as the Ornitholestes, so the painting on this figure is good, so it gets a pass. Now we'll take a look at the articulation, and the articulation, again, this figure is on the same level as the Ornitholestes, so it's pretty basic. So the head can move upwards like so, and downwards like so. The limbs can twist 360, though you do kind of have to stretch the plastic, so do watch out for that. You don't want to break this figure or anything like that. And the tail can move side to side. And that's pretty much it for the articulation on this figure. Again, it's nothing crazy, but, you know, for what it is, it's fine. It works pretty well. So, the articulation on this figure, I'd say gets a pass. Now we'll take a look at the sculpt, and the sculpting on this figure looks very nice. I really do like the sculpt. There is one thing I will say about the sculpt. I feel like the tail here is a little too short. Maybe if it was just a little longer, maybe like about there, I feel like it would look a little nicer, maybe even a little longer. This tail doesn't have to be super long, but if it was just a little longer, I feel like it would look nice. But other than the tail, and even then, like the tail is not really like an issue for me, but other than that, the sculpting on this figure looks great. Very iguanodontid-like, and I do like that. Even though this animal was more like a Hypsilophodon, I still feel like that. You know, the sculpting here still looks very nice. So the sculpting on this figure gets a pass. Now take a look at the detailing, and the detailing on this figure is also very nice. So taking a look at the head here, we can see, if my camera can focus, all of the scaling and all of the creasing and whatnot. We do have a bit of a seam right here, but that's okay. Overall, the detailing here looks very nice. And going to the neck here, we have more creasing, which is very nicely defined. And we get to the body here, and we have all the cracks in the skin, and even a little bit of musculature, which is very elephant-like, and I do really like this a lot. The detailing in the forelimbs here have a nice bit of musculature here, nice creasing, and overall nice detailing. Everything here is very nicely defined, and even on the side of the leg, again, we get more musculature, which looks great. And yeah. Everything here looks great in terms of detailing. Everything's very well defined, and I do like this a lot. The tail is detailed very nicely as well. Again, we have more cracks in the skin and more creasing, which do look very nice. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the detailing on this figure. The detail on this figure is really nice, very reminiscent of that of like an elephant or a rhino, which looks great. And yeah, overall, the detail on this figure is very good. So the detail on this figure gets a pass. So at the end of the day, should you get this, honestly, it's not a terrible figure. This figure overall is on the same level as the Ornitholestes that I reviewed last week, but yeah, this figure is not terrible. If you do get it, it's not the end of the world. It's only like $8, which you could do a lot worse for $8. So yeah, overall, this is a very good figure for what it is. Not the best I've seen, so yeah. Get this figure if you can. Very nice figure. Not perfect, as I just said, but still worth it. But if you want to know how big it is, then here it is next to Dr. Billy Grant. And again, I feel like the scaling here is a little off. I feel like the Ornitholestes should be a little shorter than this, at least like half the size as Billy Grant, at least up to like his waist here, but overall, yeah, that's the scaling. And of course, here's some hand sanitizer. Please be safe, be cautious, don't be dirty. So, yeah. And now for the announcement that I'm going to make. So, this is pretty much all I have in terms of the Primal attack line. I do have the Extreme Chomping T-Rex repaint, but honestly, I don't really feel like that's worth reviewing because I already reviewed the original, and the only thing that's really different, you know, is the color scheme. Of course, like, the tongue is different, but I don't feel like that's worth, like, its own review. So, as far as the Primal attack figures go, this is it. This is all I have. There are some that I would like to get. I would like to get the Sora Pelta one day, but I've just never been able to find it in stores. Some of the newer figures that they revealed during Toy Fair, like the Alioramus and the Dilophosaurus, I feel like look great, and I might pick those up. But, you know, there are some figures for the Primal Tech line that I might pick up, but, you know, right now, these are the only two I have. And a lot of these Mattel figures haven't been wowing me like they did back in 2018 when they first dropped. And the original line, you know, like the Fallen Kingdom line and the Legacy Collection, like, they had their faults too. They weren't perfect, but, you know, like, at the time they wowed me because it wasn't Hasbro. Now, it's a little generic, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this line deserves a little more love, but overall, the figures are not terrible. They're leagues better than what Hasbro gave us, but yeah. So, saying all of that, this might be my last review for a while, because I pretty much reviewed everything I owned. I reviewed all of my Jurassic Park stuff, I reviewed pretty much all of my Godzilla stuff. I mean, I do have some things in regards to, like, Jurassic Park videos I could do videos on. You know, I do have some figures from Hasbro that I haven't reviewed, which I could review those, but honestly, I think the less said about those, the better, because everyone has pretty much, you know, talked about how awful they are and how atrociously bad they are, and yeah, I don't really feel like reviewing those. And I do have some Lego sets from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom that I could review, but the only problem with that is they're tucked away somewhere. I don't really know where they are. Maybe one day in the future I'll try looking for them, but, you know, as of now, I don't know where they are, so yeah. Again, I'm not quitting YouTube or anything like that. So don't get this idea that I'm quitting. I'm just stopping because I pretty much reviewed everything I owned. So, yeah, the rest of the things I do have that I didn't review are very minor. Again, I don't really feel like they're worth their own videos. So, yeah, if I do get something new, rather it be Jurassic Park related or Godzilla related, then of course I'm going to review it. But as of me recording this, which is, I believe, April 6th, then, yeah, I pretty much reviewed everything I owned, so yeah. So with that said, you know, potentially like my last video for a while, unless I get something new, which, again, I know I just said this, but if I do get something new, then, of course I'm going to review it. So, again, I'm not quitting YouTube, but I'm stopping for a while because I don't really have anything left to review. So, yeah. Anyway, that is it for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace, Zack out.